The reason your brain won't shut up is that on its own terms, it is winning, not at solving your problem. It cracked that hours ago and kept right on grinding. It's winning at something else entirely, something it will happily run all night, because the running is what it actually wants. And until you catch what that something is, the noise has no off switch. You can't shut down a machine when you don't know what it's really doing. So let's catch it. Because the story you've been telling yourself about all this churning, that you're just trying to figure things out, is the exact cover that keeps the machine fed. It's going to feel wrong at first. Stay with it. It's the only version with an exit. The easy label for this is that you're a worrier, anxious, too much in your head. And the standard advice falls straight out of that label. Relax, think less, just stop. As if the volume knob were right there and you were choosing not to turn it. But telling an overthinker to think less is like telling someone mid-panic to calm down. It names the goal and skips the entire mechanism. So here's the real shift. Overthinking isn't a thinking problem at all. The thoughts are only the surface. Underneath them, the thinking is doing a job, a real specific job it's strangely good at. And your brain keeps running it because, by its own scorecard, it's succeeding, not at fixing your life, at something quieter and more comfortable and much harder to give up. Once you see the job, it stops looking like a malfunction and starts looking like a strategy. A bad one, but strategies can be changed. So why does a habit this exhausting keep running? Nothing survives in the mind for free. If overthinking stuck around, it's because it pays you, quietly, just often enough. Start with the payoff you'd never admit to yourself. Thinking feels like doing. When you're churning over a problem at midnight, you are not sitting still. You're working, or it feels exactly like working. Your mind gets the full sensation of effort and progress without the risk of actually acting, where you could be wrong, judged, or fail where people can see. Overthinking is the safest possible way to feel productive about something you're scared to touch. Then there's the jackpot. Every so often, rarely, but it happens. The churning turns up something real, a genuine insight or mistake you're glad you caught. Your brain files it win and quietly forgets the 99 nights it produced nothing, because that's how intermittent rewards work. One payout now and then keeps you pulling the lever forever. Add the small hit of relief each time you figure it out. Right before the doubt seeps back and you start over, and you've built a loop that feeds itself. You didn't choose it. It got trained into you, one late payoff at a time. Here's the mechanism underneath all of it, and it has a name most people never hear. A psychologist named Susan Nolen-Hoeksema spent her career studying this exact loop, and she drew a hard line between two things that feel identical from the inside: problem solving and rumination. Problem solving moves toward an answer and then stops. Rumination circles the problem, replaying it, questioning it, turning it over without ever moving toward action. And crucially, it does not quiet your distress. It feeds it. Her research kept finding the same thing. The more people ruminate, the worse they feel and the less they do about what's bothering them, even though every minute feels like handling it. That's the trap in one sentence. Rumination steals the feeling of problem solving while delivering the opposite result. Real thinking narrows toward a decision. This one widens. Every replay recruits 3 fresh worries, and the problem you started with quietly grows a family. The reason your brain won't shut up was never that the problem is unusually hard. It's that the process was pointed at the wrong target from the start. It was aimed at the feeling of doing something, and on that measure, remember, it's winning all night long. Picture a car stuck in mud. The driver does the intuitive thing and pushes the pedal harder. The engine roars, the wheels spin fast, and everything about the moment says effort, says almost there. But the car doesn't move an inch. Worse, the spinning digs the wheels deeper, so the harder you work, the more stuck you get. That's rumination, exactly. The roaring engine is the feeling of intensely working on your problem. The spinning wheels are the replays, and the hole getting deeper is the way each lap leaves you more anxious and more certain you have to keep going. The move that feels most like the solution, think about it even harder, is the single thing guaranteed to sink you further. Getting out never comes from more throttle. It comes from doing something completely different with your feet. Now, let's not overcorrect. Thinking things through is not the enemy, and stop overthinking can turn into its own useless advice. Some problems deserve a long, hard look, and some people have the opposite trouble. They leap on impulse and could use a few more laps first. Reflection that reaches a decision and then stops is one of the most useful things a mind does. That's not what we're talking about. The line is simple, and some of you can already feel where it falls for you. Is the thinking moving you toward a choice or just keeping you company inside the discomfort? One is problem solving. The other is a treadmill that feels like a road. And a real word here because overthinking isn't always only a habit. If your mind runs like this most nights, if it's bleeding into your sleep and your days and you can't find the off switch anywhere, that can be tangled up with anxiety or depression, and it isn't something you have to outthink by yourself. Talking to someone whose job this isn't giving up on your own mind. It's getting a second set of hands on a knot that's genuinely hard to undo from the inside. So here's what your brain has been winning at all this time. Not solving your life, protecting you from the part of it that scares you. It hands you the full feeling of managing your problems without the risk of stepping into them. And it's so good at it that it'll run all night to keep the feeling coming. Let that land for a second because it's oddly kind. You're not weak-willed and there is nothing wrong with your mind. It's a very capable machine, doing something intelligent, aimed at the wrong target. And that's the part worth keeping because it's smaller and far more freeing than think less. You were never going to win the argument in your head. The loop doesn't end when you find the perfect answer because finding the answer was never its job. It ends when you do one real thing in the actual world, however small, and starve the machine of the fuel it runs on. You don't outthink an overthinking loop, you step out of it. Try this the next time the churning starts and you can tell it's the pointless kind. Same lap, no new information. Don't try to stop thinking, that's just more throttle. Instead, do one small physical thing that moves the problem out of your head and into the world. Pick up your phone and write the worry down as one sentence. Then under it, write the one next action it actually calls for. Even something tiny. Even text her tomorrow. If there's genuinely no action, write that too. Nothing I can do until Monday. Naming it on the page does the thing the loop can't. It closes the tab. You're not solving it harder. You're lifting your foot off the throttle and setting one wheel down on solid ground. I'll leave you with the question I actually want in the comments. What's the 10-second moment your brain keeps handing back to you? The one you've replayed far more than it could ever deserve. Drop it below in one sentence, no context needed. There's a strange relief in scrolling past a few hundred people whose 3 a.m. churning is as pointless and as loud as yours. It's hard to feel like a malfunction in that kind of company. And if you want more of these, the machinery under the habits we can't seem to quit, subscribe and stick around. Your brain will absolutely overthink whether to click. Beat it to the punch.